like the speed upon which he was insisting. Geoffrey did not like the deepening pain in his shoulder and side, but the pain of neither could be helped. Scratching sounds, sire. It sounds as if she were still alive down there and trying to work her way back up to the land of the living. This by itself would have put him in a state of near terror, but he remembered coming to Calthorpe Manor the day after Misery's death. He and Jan had looked at each other, and Jan had tried to smile, although his eyes were gem-like with unshed tears. It would somehow be easier, Jan had said, if she looked more dead. I know how that sounds. Bosh, Geoffrey had said, trying to smile. The Undertaker doubtless exercised all his wit and... Undertaker? Jan nearly screamed, and for the first time Geoffrey had truly understood that his friend was tottering on the brink of madness. Undertaker? Go! I've had no Undertaker, and I will have no Undertaker to come in and rouge my darling and paint her like a doll. Jan, my dear fellow, really, you mustn't. Geoffrey had made as if to clap Jan on the shoulder, and somehow that had turned into an embrace. The two men wept in each other's arms like tired children, while in some other room Misery's child, a boy now almost a day old and still unnamed, awoke and began to cry. Mrs. Ramage, whose own kindly heart was broken, began to sing it a cradle song in a voice cracked and full of tears. At the time, deeply afraid for Jan's sanity, he had been less concerned with what Jan had said than how he said it. Only now, as he whipped Mary ever faster toward little Dunthorpe in spite of his own deepening pain, did the words come back haunting in light of Coulter's tale? If she looked more dead. If she looked more dead, old chap. Nor was that all. Late that afternoon, as the first of the village people had begun wending their way up Calthorpe Hill to pay their respects to the grieving lord, Shinebone had returned. He had looked tired, not very well himself, nor was this surprising in a man who claimed to have shaken hands with Wellington, the Iron Duke himself, when he, Shinebone, not Wellington, had been a boy. Geoffrey thought the Wellington story was probably an exaggeration, but old Shinny, as he and Tan had called him as boys, had seen probably Geoffrey through all his childhood illnesses, and Shinny had seemed a very old man to him, even then, always granting the eye of childhood, which tends to see anyone over the age of 25 as elderly. He thought Shinny must be 11? What the hell? He must be of 75 now. What the hell? Some typo. He was old. He'd had a hectic, terrible last 24 hours. And might not an old, tired man have made a mistake? A terrible, unspeakable, egregious mistake? It was this thought more than any other which had set him out on his cold and windy night under a moon which stuttered uncertainly between the clouds. Could he have made such a mistake? Part of him, a craven, cowardly part, which would rather risk losing Misery forever than look upon the inevitable results of such a mistake, denied it. But when Shinny came in, Geoffrey had been sitting by Jan, who was remembering in a broken, scarcely coherent way how he and Jan had rescued Misery from the palace dungeons of the mad French Viscount Leroy, how they had escaped in a wagon load of hay, and how Misery distracted one of the Viscount's guards at the critic's moment by slipping one gorgeously unclad leg out of the hay and waving it delicately. Geoffrey had been charming in his own memories of the adventure, wholly in the grip of his grief by then, and he cursed that grief how, because to him, and to Jan as well, he supposed, Shinny had barely been there. Hadn't Shinny seemed strangely distant, strangely preoccupied? Was it only weariness, or had it been something else? Something suspicion-like? Damn it! No, surely not. His mind protested uneasily. The pony trap was flying up Calthorpe Hill. The main house itself was dark, but good, there was still a single light on in Mrs. Ramage's cottage. That'll do.